Throughout all of history, and up till about 50 years ago, the average sleep was 9 hours a night. Today, it's less than 6 hours. Do you think that this is a contributing factor to our obesity crisis? Welcome back. My name is Zach and I'm your health coach, and on this channel I teach you how to make good choices when it comes to training, nutrition, and lifestyle practices. Before we get into today's topic, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, as well as hit that notification button. You can find out every time I post a new video. But let's get into the topic. 2.5 million years our human species has been around, and we've gotten about 9 hours of sleep. And in the last 50 years, that average has plummeted. New statistics show that about a third of American society gets less than 6 hours of sleep a night. Every piece of literature out there proves to us that sleep is vital, not only for just daily functioning, but the prevention of modern disease. And because that average nightly sleep has plummeted, it is now estimated that 70 million Americans have some form of sleep disorder. So the truth is that our physiology, right, the way that our body works and functions, no longer matches the environment that we live in. So let's take a look of how our human species has slept for 2.5 million years and see if we can kind of get back to those practices. Throughout history, our body has been run by the circadian rhythm, right? Governed by light and darkness. In the morning, when the sun comes up, our bodies naturally wake up by producing cortisol, a stress hormone that puts you in that sympathetic state, right? Or that flight or fight state, okay? And then later in the day, as the sun starts going down, maybe around 6 p.m., you start to release melatonin that puts you in that parasympathetic state that winds the body down, gets it ready for sleep. So why isn't this happening so naturally today? Well, the first reason is artificial light, right? You can have artificial sunlight 24/7 all day, every day of the year, okay? And this can have a drastic effect on your hormones, mainly melatonin, right? If you have this artificial light, your body still thinks that sunlight out, okay? And it's not going to produce that melatonin to start allowing your parasympathetic state take over. This also goes hand in hand with electronics, right? Cell phones, television, tablets, computers. What's the number one thing that every person does before they go to bed? They spend time on their cell phones, their computers, they watch television, okay? And this messes the production of your melatonin, right? It stimulates the release of cortisol, keeping you awake, making it harder for you to fall asleep. A third factor could be stimulants. All right, on average, how much coffee, pre-workouts, energy drinks are people drinking throughout the day? If you're drinking any of these things, after, 3 p.m., they're going to affect your sleep and wake cycle. A fourth factor could be movement, right? Are you moving your body enough throughout the day, at least 10 to 15,000 steps, in order for you to be tired at night? Or are you just sitting at a desk job all day? I think a fifth and final reason is the stigma that comes with sleeping 9 hours, right? You're lazy, you're a bum, you can't be successful if you sleep 9 hours, I'll sleep when I die, work hard, play hard, all these things, in my opinion, that are just such BS, right? And they're guiding people really on the wrong path. So far we've talked about the averages, right, and how they have dropped drastically in only 50 years. We talked about some of the factors that contribute to these low averages of sleep, right? But how does this affect, your overall health? We know that the body loves to be in homeostasis, right? A balance between your parasympathetic state and your sympathetic state. Your flight and fight mode and your heal, sleep, and recover mode. These two need to be equal. So if you're sleeping 6 hours a night, they're clearly not in balance. You're gonna stress out your immune system, you're gonna stress out your hormone and endocrine system, you're gonna stress out your metabolic function. And studies show that just one night of sleep deprivation, right, causes insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone that decides whether or not you store or utilize energy. Right? When you become insulin resistant, your body therefore has to produce more insulin to get the job done. the higher your insulin levels are, the more that you will store body fat. Therefore, insulin resistance is associated with hyperinsulinemia, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and many other chronic diseases that we suffer from. Staying up late is also associated with increased calorie intake, right? Studies show that people eat more at night, okay, without actually expending that energy because they're just laying in bed. Sleep loss will affect your immune system, right? Making it harder to fight off colds, sickness, parasite and fungal infections, and overall disease. Sleep loss will affect your overall daily life practices, right? You will be grumpy and tired and agitated, and this leads you to make poor decisions, right? Poor decisions when it comes to nutrition, poor decisions when it comes to training. It is absolutely the number one, medicine that we have in our toolkits, and people just disregard it, right, every day as if it's nothing. If you want to feel good, right, if you want to just see the weight fall off of you, you need to make sleep a priority. Start out by moving as much as you can throughout the day, right? You need to be tired by nighttime. Second, ditch the stimulants, right, after 12 p.m. Okay, you should only be drinking water, right? Not coffee, not pre-workout, not monster drinks, all right? Nothing that can affect your wake and sleep cycles. Third, ditch the sweeteners before you go to bed. Yes, on this channel, we've talked about how some people have the ability to process and assimilate, carbohydrates better than others, right? But that doesn't include simple sugars, right before you go to bed, right? Ditch them, you'll be able to sleep better. Fourth, right, no physical activity, after 6 p.m. Okay, as the sun starts going down, your body needs to wind down, okay? Performing exercise late at night is only going to increase cortisol levels and keep you in that flight and fight stress response even longer throughout the night. Fifth is controlling light exposure, right? This is going to be the hardest one for you, but it's trying to minimize, tablets and cell phones and computers and televisions before you go to bed. At least an hour before you go to bed, all this should be off. And this includes, controlling the light in your room, right? It should be almost pitch black in your room. No light that should be emitting from the alarm clock or the Fios box, right, on the television. Sixth and final tip is avoiding heated arguments before you go to bed, right? Do your best to save them for the morning, okay? They could really affect your stress levels and really increase that cortisol, right? And affect your sleep and wake cycles. But that's all we have for today. Those are my tips for getting better sleep. Hopefully I was able to prove to you that sleep is vital for performance, daily function, health, and weight loss. Thanks so much for joining. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below. Okay, let me know, maybe some of you are in a tricky circumstance, or maybe you work at night, something along those lines. But otherwise, I'll see you next week. Hopefully you're one step closer to learn how to thrive. Peace.